I think we're probably where we're going to be for to start with. We've got one more person waiting.
This ain't working very well.
We've got 49 people in the meeting, which isn't a bad start. So welcome everyone. I hope you're all well. Strange time, and oh, the captain's waiting. Should we let the captain in?
No.
It's late.
Welcome, John. We had a vote and they weren't going to let you in, but we decided we should. Right. Okay. Let's just mute. Right. If you can all mute yourselves for a moment. In fact, I can do that. And then I will unmute Roy. Welcome. Thank you for joining. It's good to see so many people here. Oh, okay. So thank you for joining the meeting. It's nice to see a lot of friendly faces. I am recording this, so hopefully I can send it out on email to people who aren't able to join because they're either at work or not got access to Zoom. So I am recording it. I've muted everyone except myself at the moment. And if you go to the bottom of the screen under the videos, there's an option on there for chat. And if anyone's got questions that they want to ask, can you please type your questions on the chat? And I'll read them out and then answer them as best I can. I'll do my best. Right, a quick update on where we are. We're really playing a waiting game at the moment, waiting for the government's announcement on Sunday, which will hopefully give us a clearer indication of whether and when we can open the golf course. There are various thoughts in terms of when it's going to be. One is that it's going to be Monday, the day after the announcement. I think that's very unlikely. A more popular view is that it will be Monday the 18th of May, but will potentially be announced on Sunday. And there's another thought that it could be later than that, and that the Daily Mail certainly had an article yesterday saying that they thought it would be the 1st of June. I'm not sure where they've got that from, and I hope it's not as late as that. But all we can do is follow guidelines and comply with what the government and England Golf are saying. So that's where we are. In preparation for golf courses opening again, we are bringing back 2 more members of green staff next week. So as of Monday next week, Gary and Jack will be back working, which will make it up to a team of 4. And depending on the announcement on Sunday and the news that we get, then the other 2 staff, Ricky and Neil, will be back shortly after that once we know the timing. For the first 3 weeks of lockdown, we had Neil and Ricky working. After 3 weeks, we switched that to Brett and John. And the reason that Brett wasn't working initially, as you might have seen in the email, was that his wife was showing symptoms, and we didn't want to get to a stage where Brett was working, and then a week into it had to self-isolate. So we took the decision that for the first 3 weeks, Ricky was more than capable of doing exactly what needed to be doing. In fact, Brett felt that he in some ways is better at the spraying that needed to be doing, is more used to doing that. So it worked quite well. And then after 3 weeks, there was no reason for taking Ricky and Neil off other than the fact that we felt that it was right to bring Brett back, and John was eager to get back to work as well, and it made sense to share the workload, if you like, and have 2 different people working, having been able to furlough Brett and John for the 3 week period. So currently we have, overall, we have 26 staff, and currently 22 are furloughed. We are, oh, sorry, we've got one person waiting to come in, 2 people waiting to come in. So yes, at the moment we have 26 staff, 22 furloughed. Myself and Lynn are working through the office, and Brett and John. Who can't hear me? Someone can't hear me. Everyone else seems to be able to. It might be that your speakers aren't on. I'm not sure who that is because there isn't a name on it. Maybe you can have a fiddle with your speakers. But anyway, yes, 26 staff, 22 furloughed at the moment. That will be coming down to 20 furloughed once we have Jack and Gary coming back next week. In terms of the office, this plan is still to operate with myself and Lynn, and we will carry on like that until we get more of an indication of what we can do. We've got no further income coming in at the moment, so we will keep it at that while we can. So that's staff. So we'll have 4 staff working from on the course from next week, and we'll review the other 2. In terms of the course itself, the staff have been doing a great job maintaining it as best they can with only 2 of them, and it's, I mean, most of what they've been doing is cutting and looking after the greens. The greens have had problems coming out of the winter with the scarring that we had from before lockdown. That is improving significantly now, and the work that they're doing on it means that over the next week or so they will get back to somewhere near where we would like them to be, and hopefully by the time we open they'll be in a decent condition. The rest of the course has been cut, but is a bit scruffy. Oh, hello. Someone's shared.
David, somebody's sharing a screen.
Yeah, who's sharing a screen? Can they? Thank you. Thank you. So, where are we? We are the course. Yes, it will be back to something like normality soon. And I've just got Therese there now. Right. So, in terms of opening, we are waiting, as I said, and we will wait until we get the announcement of what we can do. Right. Any questions? I've got a couple to start off with from a couple of people that can't make the meeting. So, a question from Sammy: when normality returns to the club, will we be up to speed with the correct quota of bar staff required, and will they be fully trained? No one knows when bars are going to be able to open, and I think personally that will be one of the last aspects that the government open. So initially, I can't see it being any more than the course with significant restrictions. Now that will be, I mean, the restrictions I put on the RNA's guidelines or draft guidelines on the email I sent out yesterday. So you may well have seen that. There will be significant restrictions. It's likely to be 2 balls. It's likely to be booking tea times only, which will be done either through the pro shop, or we will be able to put tea bookings. In fact, I have enabled tea bookings on through the app and through the members hub of the website. That will go live as and when we know when we can open. One question that we will be asked and we will have to answer, and we don't know at the moment, is will it be 18 holes or 9 holes initially. That's something that we need to decide depending on what we think the demand is going to be initially. If it's only 2 balls at 10-minute intervals, which is what we're expecting, then that's only 12 people an hour if we're allowing to play off the first tee only. So we need to come to a solution on that and decide whether or not that is going to be sufficient, or whether we need to restrict it initially to 9 holes for the first week or so, so that we can have people playing off the first tee and the 10th tee to get more people on the course. We will be ensuring that it is members only initially. We won't be accepting any green fees. We won't be accepting any visitors at all initially, so that members have the best possible chance to play the course, which I think is only right, bearing in mind the frustrations that everyone's had over the last few weeks. So in terms of answers to Sammy's question, bar staff, I can't see the bar being open until July, August, personally, although that's my point of view. A supplementary question from Sammy was, several quality staff left the club a time before the pandemic. Will they be considered for re-employment? Well, I think it's unlikely, because the staff that we already have who are furloughed at the moment will be our first port of call, assuming they all want to come back. One more question from Andy Colley. It may well be that in 2 to 3 months' time is when some members feel the worst hit financially, when they know how their businesses are going to be operating and whether they're going to suffer from that. We will have to wait and see on that. There's nothing we can say or do at the moment until we know those individual situations. The committee that we have looking at people who are struggling to maintain the membership hasn't got a time frame. There's no reason for that to stop just because the course is open and the club is operating again. So if people are in difficulties at some stage over the course of the year, we will look at individual cases through the committee. Phil, thank you for your question. If everyone wants to play, will they be limited to amount of times? Potentially, yes. Some places that are already open, and some places that have suggested guidelines have suggested twice a week initially, no more than 2 bookings a week. Now, again, we need to decide whether that's 2 lots of 18 holes or 2 lots of 9 holes, depending on where we are at the time. Paul, thank you. Normality isn't going to return anytime soon. How will we protect players by reminding them during the round of the need for social distancing? For example, B&Q makes you use a big trolley to keep your distance. I think we're very different to shops. Social distancing on a golf course should be easy. And I think it's been drummed into people often enough over the last 6-7 weeks that hopefully, I mean, we can't have a minder going around with every group to make sure that they stay 2 meters apart. But I believe that our members are sensible enough to be able to police that themselves. We will have systems in place to try and ensure that staff are protected in terms of the pro shop, and that we have a system in place whereby it's being suggested that people will be asked to arrive no more than 10 to 15 minutes before their tee time that's booked, and that once play is finished, you leave the course and the club within reasonable time, as quickly as possible, effectively. It's not going to be the golf club as we know it in terms of the nice social place that we've come to know and love initially. It'll be a bit of time before we get back to that. But I hope that social distancing will be respected. If it's not, then we risk golf clubs being closed down again if clubs all around the country find that is the case. Will groups be able to block book, i.e. seniors and ladies? Something we haven't discussed yet, but I believe that the answer will be unlikely. I think while there are no competitions, and there won't be any competitions initially, I think it will be, say, a free-for-all. But anyone, my thinking, and Roy's nodding his head because he's in the same room because his wasn't working properly. I think there won't be any set bookings for any groups. Anyone will be able to book at any time as long as it falls within their category.
I think it's going to have to wait and see what the demand is.
Yes, as Roy's saying now, we will have to wait and see what the demand is. It may be that Tuesday mornings, for example, men don't book as much because they're used to not playing on a Tuesday. In which case, it'll be easier for ladies to book more tea times in the same sort of area. But with social distancing, to be honest, I don't see an awful lot of necessity for groups to block book, because although they might see each other at distance across the courts, we're going to be encouraging people not to group together as such. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Is no green fees applicable to social members? I think initially we're going to have to say that no green fees at all. Playing members only initially for the first week or two to see how demand goes. And then if we can open it up to members' guests, for example, then that would be the next stage, and I would guess that social members would come within that category. If they're social for the year, then they would come within members' guests, and that they will be the first people that we invited back to the course other than playing members. When will the golf range be open? Initially, the practice facilities will be closed. The putting green, I think, will be open for groups immediately before they go out to play, but restricted to that only. The practice area, all the guidelines that we've seen so far are that the practice areas and golf and ranges will be closed, other than one-to-one tuition from professionals using social distancing. So one-to-one lessons will be possible, as long as social distancing is respected. So yeah, initially, I don't know how long that will go on. We haven't been given any guidance on that at all at the moment, and we will have to respect what we're told on that subject. Where are we? That is the end of the questions at the moment. Colin, in terms of the course, has given me today a course update that will be sent out to everyone, hopefully later today. One of the things that we have talked about at length, but not yet activated, is the option of divoting fairways for members who are taking their daily exercise. And it's something that we will, once we know when we're going to be opening, we will hopefully look to put that in place. So what we'll suggest is that for people who live locally, and some are walking on the course as part of their daily exercise, are able to get here quite easily, we will look to put divot mix out in buckets on the fairways that are worst affected, that have got divots that need repairing, and we will invite members who are walking the course to bring their own gloves, bring a trowel, or if they want to, or just do it by hand, to help us out with a bit of divoting at some stage. But we don't know when that will be yet. While it's dry like it is at the moment, there's not an awful lot of point because the seed won't germinate. But when we've got a bit of moisture, and we know that we are to be opening imminently, then we'll look to do that. Doug, will the pro shop be open? I think Stuart's on the call. So Stuart, if you want to unmute yourself, you can do. But initially, I think the pro shop, there will be someone in the pro shop. The idea at the moment is that the pro shop will be locked, and transactions will be done through the window. And my suggestion that I think we we will hopefully be doing is when people have booked a tea time, if they want to contact Stuart to buy balls, gloves, teas, that sort of thing that they know they're going to need, then Stuart will be able to bag them up in advance, take a payment over the phone, or if payment over the phone isn't possible, then certainly contactless, either through the window or that sort of thing, will be perfectly possible and will help Stuart in that he can bag up what people want so that it's ready for them when they turn up for their tea time. And that's certainly something that I think will help both Stuart and the members in terms of getting what they need. Captain, we only need to be 2 meters apart whilst shopping, so why such a large gap between groups? With potential building sites and infrastructure work getting the go-ahead. It's following guidelines, John. Our normal tea time interval for visitors booking is 10 minutes. On a start sheet, a normal start sheet, we normally have 8 minutes. And I know that's normally for a 3 or 4 ball, but all the guidelines are saying 10-minute intervals for 2 people. So I think that's what we are going to have to go with initially. Now, as soon as that's eased off, then we'll look to reduce. Derek, welcome. I know you're a bit late, but not a problem. Sorry, I'm just letting a few more people in who are late, very late. Derek, are we ready to open Monday if the announcement comes on Sunday? The simple answer is yes. It won't be ideal to have no notice because what we will be asked to do is have booking times for everyone. And if it's, oh, that's nice. Zoom have removed the 40-minute time limit on our meeting. So we've got a bit longer. So are we ready to go on Monday? The course is ready. It's not in perfect tip-top condition because the finer touches haven't been done in terms of strimming and that sort of thing. But the greens are, you know, all we need to do is put flags in and put tee markers out. So yes, we would be ready on Monday. The problem we would have is if they say on Sunday night golf courses can open tomorrow, we would need to communicate to members very quickly that it won't be a free-for-all. They can't all just turn up on Monday morning and expect to all get on the tee. We will need to get out communication, and with the number of people we've got on email, that's not impossible, but not everyone reads emails straight away. It might well be that we have to enable the tee sheet straight away as soon as the announcement's made, and open up tee booking times straight away, and say that we will potentially have someone on the entrance on Monday morning saying, if you haven't got a tee time, I'm sorry, you can't come in, so that we can monitor it that way. But yes, the course would be ready to open, is the simple answer.
The issues as well as control on what they're being asked to control and put those processes in place.
Yeah, as Roy said, the items that will cause us the issues for opening that quickly are control of tee times and where people are going to be, rather than the course. Changing rooms be open when the course is. Yes, they will need to be initially, so that people can get clubs, so that people can use toilets. There are varying messages going around in terms of what's possible or what should be the case. Some are saying that changing rooms should be open initially for people for the first time they play, and then after that they should take clubs away with them. That's not possible for everyone. So yes, we will have them open, is my immediate thought. The issue comes if we've got tee times until 6 o'clock, for example, in the evening. People are potentially playing until 8, 10 o'clock at night. We're going to need someone to come back and lock the locker rooms at that time, if that's the case. But that's details that we will have to communicate as soon as we can on that. Are the guidelines England Golf or government? The what's happened is all the bodies, the RNA, England Golf Club Managers Association, Greenkeepers Association, and the PGA have all put their combined plan to the government, recommendations to the government in terms of how they think golf can open as soon as possible. So when government says golf courses can open, it will be a case of following the guidelines that have been put down by all those bodies. If we don't do that, then we won't be allowed to open. So it will be a case of following the guidelines that are effectively combined, government and England Golf and the organisations. Scott, if we plan to play the course with restrictions, what are the plans around competitions? Initially, no competitions at all. The issues with competitions are more technical, I guess, in terms of signing cards, in terms of processing cards, passing cards from player to player or player to pro shop or player to whoever's doing the competition. That's something that will need to be worked out as quickly as possible once courses are open, but there are no plans immediately to have any competitions initially. It will purely be social golf. Lisa, will there be an opportunity for members to hear an update on the club's finances in the near future, e.g. within a couple of months of reopening? Yes, I mean, we will update members as much as possible in terms of the finances of the club. We know roughly where we are in terms of membership. We know that we are in the region of £100,000 short of membership income compared to our budget. Our budget that has now been thrown in the bin about 5 times. We know that we will have no green fee income initially. How long that will be for, we don't know. We know that there's no bar and catering income for a significant period. As I said previously, could be up to July, August, September. We really don't know on that, but there might be a bit more guidance on that on Sunday in the government's announcement. We don't know how long furloughing is going on. It's been guaranteed until June at the moment, the end of June, and the Chancellor has said that there won't be a cliff edge. It will be reduced over a period of time after that, but we haven't got details on that yet. So we don't know exactly what costs we're going to be able to save staffing-wise after June. We know that we've got a saving of £40,000 in terms of rates. We're not being charged rates this year. We've had that confirmed by the council. We've had the credit note for that. So that is a decent saving. And we've stopped payments on everything that we can at the club without causing the club problems. But yes, we will give a more detailed idea of where the finances are. To give you an idea, in terms of cash, last year at the end of April we had £240,000 of cash in the account, which goes down very quickly during the course of the year, and at the end of February, before we start taking any subs in for the following year, we're down to in the region of £50,000 in the account. We are probably about £80,000 short of that this year in terms of cash. So immediate cash flow isn't a major concern. The concern is later in the year where we will be and how we can eke that money out when we will have reduced income for the rest of the year, and within a few weeks or months, significantly more cost in terms of staff as they come back. Right, Derek, they may look at allowing some public houses to open who have gardens. Are we able to open with safe social distancing measures in place? When they say pubs can open, then I'm guessing that we will be able to open the bar with social distancing almost certainly. And when we're able to, then we will do. But we have to wait for the government guidelines to be able to do that. Michael Kelly, could you open booking for Monday just in case? Then we might have an idea of how many will be able to play. That's something that I will talk to the board about, and we will put out.
You've already set the system.
The system is set up. The only thing we need to confirm is whether it's only 9 holes or 18 holes or a mixture of the two. We could have some 9 holes going off the 10th first thing in the morning for those that only want to play 9 or only can play 9, and then 18 holes off the first. It's not impossible that we could set it up, or we could open it up. Certain members can book. If we do that, we will notify you of the time that it's going live, so that people can. I still think it's very unlikely that we will open on Monday, but you're right, we do need to be ready just in case. Right, where are we? 12:10. Any other questions? Thank you for all the questions that you have put in. I hope you've found this useful. I will plan to have another Zoom meeting sometime next week, possibly Tuesday, Wednesday, once we know what the government has said on Monday and we've had a time to digest it, assuming we're not open on Monday. But we will keep you as updated as we can. I'm sure you'll all be listening to the announcements on Sunday as much as we will to find out what, when and how we will be allowed to proceed. So stay well, stay safe, and we will be in touch as soon as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
All the best.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
David.
Thank you, David. Bye.
David, all the best.
Thank you, David.
No problem.
Well done, team.